So, a PlayStation State of Play is happening tomorrow. This is where I think the next Sonic game is getting revealed. Sonic has been really close with PlayStation recently. A Shadow Generations Dark Beginnings animatic was exclusive to PlayStation consoles, Sonic X Shadow Generations and Sonic Racing Crossworlds were announced at a State of Play, and Crossworlds and Shadow Generations DLC has also been announced at State of Plays. So due to all of this, I'm under the assumption that at least something Sonic related will be here. So I thought I would talk about my hopes for the next 3D mainline Sonic game. So let's get right into it. First off, my main hope is that Sonic Team sticks with the open zone formula from Frontiers and refines it. Well, this is kind of a given, I just don't want another Lost World situation. So yeah, and by refine, I mean overhaul. While I like Frontiers, there are still a lot of issues with the game that need to be fixed. First off, the cohesion of the environment. One thing about Frontiers was that it was hard to appreciate any of the environments because of all of the asset spam in the open zone. Hopefully, rails, platforms, springs, loops, and whatever else they decide to include are more cohesively placed in the environment. Speaking of environments, I hope that instead of open zones, we go fully open world, with multiple sections in the map. The center of the map could be an Eggman City, which is basically the game's Great Plateau. But once you break out, you are sent to a vast open world with lush forests, giant waterfalls, snowy tundras, and much more. Then at the end of the game, you go back to the Eggman City, which throughout the game goes through more and more construction to make it more threatening than your first visit. However, what would you do in this open world? Well, first off, I think cyberspace should return. However, not exactly the same. Instead, throughout the world, you can run into Tails, and when you give him something, maybe invention parts or something like that, you can play traditional Sonic levels. However, this time, no more reused themes or level designs. These stages are going to be all original, and since it doesn't have to appeal to the open world, we can have themes such as music levels and other concepts that are more out there. Beating these challenges will give you useful gadgets or abilities or something like that. Maybe something like a triple jump or the bounce bracelet or something like that. However, moving into the actual open world, there will be actual platforming challenges, not just automated homing attack chains and dash pads, but actual moments that test your skill and require you to master every move in your arsenal. This leads me to talk about the moveset itself. I'd like both the spin dash and the boost to return. However, the boost and spin dash will function differently from Frontiers. The spin dash will be heavily toned down, so you can't just skip over all the level design for free. However, you can roll through enemies and take advantage of slope launching. However, the boost is going to work more like a run button, where you can't take as much advantage of slopes, and also can be used for rail launching, just like in Frontiers. The homing attack will return, but with less delay, and will carry some momentum when you hit an enemy. We also have the double jump. Moves like the bounce bracelet, lightspeed dash, a triple jump, and others will be unlockable through cyberspace, as I mentioned earlier. There's two more things I want to talk about. First, side quests. There will be villages plopped around the map with villagers where you can engage in side quests, such as races, possibly going to animal capsules and you have to free animals from them, or even fights with some of Sonic's friends, which you can find as well. Speaking of fights, the combat will be heavily changed from Frontiers. I don't think we should be expecting something on the level of Devil May Cry or something. However, I think moves should feel less like cutscenes and feel more satisfying to pull off with actual combos. Also, the perfect parry should return. Just telegraph the attacks better to make it way better to use. And that's basically all of my hopes for the game. We will see if any of these come true when the game is finally revealed, hopefully on Thursday. But that's all from me. Peace.